Alright, welcome back guys. What's going on? Long time no see. Mr. T here. We got a unique special video off the beaten path from the normal pack openings, and this is my second one. So I had another request come in from Joey all the way from Netherlands, and he said, Mr. T, I loved your video. Just joined the channel, new to Magic, and he wants a kind of mystery bundle put together for him as well. So I spent the last, oh gosh, you guys probably see over here, I've pulled out 5 boxes. I've already started sorting because I got a feeling once a few of these videos go up that more people are going to be interested in this type of thing. And a little different from the other video, whereas I kind of just showed you guys the process of picking. This time I went through, he had a little bit more specific things he was looking for. He was playing with 2 people who, one of them's using mill, and one of them is playing with, what's he got? Theft? Steel? So I'm guessing he's playing somewhere around black. And they basically are stealing his deck. So mill decks and steel decks, that's what we're up against. And his color, one of his color combos was red and green. So I went through, looked at some of my $10, $15 cards, found Minsc Boo, who right now is sitting at $14 in foil. And then I just started picking cards based off of some synergy with him. So we went aggro, guys. Keep in mind, it's not going to be perfect. All right, these cards were picked from tons of cards here, right? And I just went through and went down, and they're all mixed up, and I found cards until their synergy. So, and similar to when you guys go and you buy a pre-made, you're gonna have options to upgrade your cards. So hopefully in the comments below I don't see any people going too crazy about, oh man, there's so many better cards. I know. Heck, I couldn't even find a soul ring. I have so many cards sitting right here. Like, there are 5 of these 3,000 card boxes sitting on my desk right now, and that's what I've been going through for the past few hours. So it was a lot of fun. I already started sorting. Hold on, let's see if I can pick up some. So I already started sorting a little bit, and this is, I made it through 2 boxes. Oh, let's see if I can pick this up. And this is wild. This is foil lands. Full art, showcase all foil lands. It's crazy. Like, if I even had to count, I mean, it's half a stack of 1,800, so we're probably about 900 full art foil lands right there that I just picked up, give or take. And I mean, pricing wise, they can go anywhere from 50 cents to $5 to $10. So I was blown away when I saw that. I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. But without further ado, let's get right into it. So we're playing Minsc Boo, Timeless Heroes. Joey, I hope you watched the full length of this video, because since you are new to Magic, and for others out there, there are gonna be some interesting things that I'm gonna point out real quick. So it is a little bit of deck tech for you guys. And then we'll also just get to see. So I'll get right into that. I'll flip through the cards, so anybody who wants to just watch, skip through and be like, oh, that's what he included. So this was $100 for Joey. It's going all the way to the Netherlands. So 3 collector packs. He's new to Magic, so I went and I just picked 3 from a few different sets. Kaldheim, Dungeons and Dragons. We got Baldur's Gate right there. Hopefully he finds a nice little dragon or something. And then we got Midnight Hunt there. Totaling up right there was $68, so good chunk of it. Rounded up, we'll say 70. And then I went and I picked through lands for him. So I got pretty close to doing a full deck, but then there's going to be staples and stuff that I just don't have. You know, there's no Soul Ring in here. I did find a Command Tower though, so there's going to be things he's going to add in, and hopefully when he sees this video, when he watches it, it's going to take a few weeks for all these cards to get to you, Joey. So you got time to think about some cards that you're going to want to add in here. But starting off, we'll just go through lands, Mana Gate, Terramorphic Expanse, Evolving Wilds. Keep in mind too, guys, everything here has, well, except, I mean, it's Command Tower. Like, yeah, it's not a special one. Is that Throne of Eldraine? Whoa. Is that really? I'm gonna say Eldraine, right? I didn't even notice that. That's wild. All right. Anyways, so everything in here has like special treatment and everything. So you got mountains for him, all foil, beautiful, beautiful. That's a throwback from Theros Beyond Death. Love that. And then we're going to switch over to our forest. So we are playing red green. Got a little bit of red green. All right, so lands, uncommons and commons. I think I picked through about 35 for him. Again, from tons of different sets. Okay, I gotta stop there. I know people are gonna blow up about this one because they're gonna be like, dude. I'm pretty sure this thing's like $10. So we got a Brotherhood Regalia in there. I honestly, I'm not paying attention to pricing all that much when I'm going through these. You gotta remember, a lot of these cards change in price over time. So things that I've put away that at one time could have been $1 or even 50 cents, they may be $3, $5, $10 now. So same thing, rares here, rares, mythics, similar to last time. Went through, picked things. I looked for synergy on kind of what we're going to do with the deck, and you guys will have to stick around if you want to hear a little bit of that or read through some of the cards. Honestly, it was a lot of fun, I gotta say. It was a lot of fun. Oh, you guys are going to love this one. Especially when you start thinking about how the deck's going to work. And I threw this in just for giggles. Because he said somebody's stealing his cards. How funny is it going to be to steal their card? And then you get a little bit of draw from it too. So, there we go. Nice specialty land there in the... is that the... I forget what that foiling is. Surge foiling from Fallout. Geez, that's probably like $5 to $10 right there. Alright, let's get into it. Like I said, pricing's not a huge thing. These cards are just sitting to the side. Everything's going back to the channel. So, Joey, I appreciate your support, man. Appreciate you joining me on Patreon, following on YouTube, subscribing. So, this is one other way that I get to share that with you guys and say thank you. Let's get right into it. So we're going to start with the commons and uncommons. We've got Ground Seal. So, actually, real quick, if you're not familiar with Minsc Boo, when he comes into play, you can get, or at the beginning of your upkeep, you get a 1/1 legendary red hamster creature with trample and haste. And that is a May, so you don't have to. But it's going to be really important, some of the deck tech that I kind of went with, Joey, you're going to need to. Alright, man? You're going to need to let that hamster come into play. And when it does, it's going to do the legendary roll, so you're going to have to sacrifice one of them. Super important you don't miss those triggers. Alright, so put his +1s, put 3 +1 counters on target creature who has trample or haste. And then you can sacrifice a creature, and he deals X damage to any target, where X is the creature's power. If it was a hamster, you're going to draw X cards. So you got a little bit of a draw engine right there too. You might have to be careful against that mill deck with that though. You don't want to be sacrificing that hamster. But it is going to be important to do that hamster eventually. Alright, starting off with Ground Skill. Enchantment, you get a card, you draw a card, and then cards in graveyards can't be the targets of spells or abilities. I'm not sure what kind of theft game you're playing against, but if they're playing black and they're stealing stuff, they're most likely going to be taking from your graveyard. And if they're also milling, then they're going to be milling your stuff into the graveyard, then stealing it out of there. So this might help a little bit with that, if you haven't seen that card. Oh, that's another thing, guys. I don't know if I said it. Joey's new to Magic. I think I did. It's late, alright? I need some sleep. I've been going at this, but I really wanted to make this video before I went to bed because I just was too excited. Deck teching, like, I should not be allowed to make commander decks anymore. There was a period where I went through and started making commander decks, and I must have made 100+ commander decks in the span of a month. And that was the beginning. Alright, so Grok's Uprising, we're aggro, alright? So enters battlefield if you control power 4 or greater. That's going to be pretty easy. As soon as you get your little hamster on the board, you've got a 4. So everything has trample, which means everything's targetable by Minsc Boo. And then when it's 4 greater and it's battlefield under your control, you get another card. So it's going to be a good draw engine for you. If you're not dealing with that mill deck, it's just going to be a good draw engine. Anything that's playing creatures in green, that's going to be really nice for you. All right, Troublemaker Oofy. You can bargain him. This actually reminds me, because if for some reason here that card, where are we at? The Vault Key. All right. So if you take somebody's permanent, target legendary permanent card not named, so if you take it from their graveyard, put it on the battlefield under your control. If it dies for some reason, guess what? Sacrifice, and I think there's a few cards of bargain in there. You can sacrifice this off. All right, and you can do that with other artifacts that you don't need anymore, or even if you get tokens from people. So you're able to do that. What's going to happen when you bargain your little Troublemaker here? You're going to get to exile a artifact or enchantment and opponent controls. All right. So if they're enchanting creatures and stuff like that, plus just enchantments and artifacts can be deadly. Anyways, moving on. We'll let you figure out a little bit of it. All right. So this isn't going to be an out-of-the-box ready deck, but you're going to have a lot of opportunity to play around with it. Pick some cards that you want, add some things in, take some things away. Here we go. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, scry 1. Season of Growth. Pretty standard, straightforward. You're going to get some scry action there. Pick the cards that you want to get milled away if you know a mill spell's coming, or if there's a creature out there on the next turn that you know is going to attack you and it's going to cause you to mill, you can at least dump a card that you don't really need. And then when you cast a spell that targets a creature you control, you can draw a card. There isn't a lot of single target in here, but I mean, it is what it is. This one's going to be really good. Ginger Brute, I actually am not sure what the pricing is on Ginger Brute, but can't be blocked this turn except by creatures with haste for 1. It's a 1/1. You can sack it and gain life. We don't really care about that, but it has haste, which means it can be targeted by Minsc. That's important, and you can make it unblockable. And some of these equipments you can attach to it. Oh yeah. Alright, Terravore, Trample, Power and Toughness are equal to the number of land cards in all graveyards. If somebody's milling, it's likely that you're going to have a decent amount of lands in there. Plus he has Trample, he's a 3-drop. You're going to have a good opportunity to get him pumped up. They're not going to want to block this. Oh, they definitely are not later on. Just wait, it gets better. Alright, Overpowering Attack, free running. We don't really care about free running. Actually, if you deal combat damage to a player this turn with an assassin or commander, no, we don't care about free running. So untap all creatures you control and attack this turn if it's your main phase or there's an additional combat main phase. So this really, it can just be a finisher. We do have a few of these take an extra combat turn. You could ultimately end games right there. Especially if you hit, what, once, twice with your little Boo. If you get him pumped up enough, you can sacrifice him, just deal direct damage. Game over, man. It's all about that aggro. Alright, Radha, legendary. When he attacks, you're going to get 2, so you got a little mana dork here. He's going to give you 2 when he attacks, or you can just tap him if you need the green for some reason. Morningstar. It's kind of a little fun one. So it's going to give a creature that doesn't have Trample already, or if they remove some of your enchantments and things like that, it's going to have Trample now. You also get to roll a dice, and we're going to make some tokens. Or you can create one and then attach the Morningstar to it without having to pay that equip cost. Not too bad. I'd rather just keep making more 1/1 red tokens. Oh, you only get to do that twice. You only get to do that once. Goblin Morningstar actually might not be as great as I thought it was. I thought whenever you attack, you were going to get a Goblin token. Or you're going to get to roll. It is not. It's just when it enters. Man, that's kind of lame. Not that great. So that might be one that you swap out at a later time. Alright, Fanatical Strength. Instant target. You're going to give it Trample, 3/3. Sometimes you just want to get through. Boots of Speed. Yes, I know. We're probably going to swap this out for Swiftfoot or just have it in there as another option to give a cheap 1/1 for haste. A lot of options to give haste and Trample here. Alright, so Direwolf Prowler. We're going to pump him up. 2/2, gains haste until end of turn. You can only do it once. That's fine. He's early. you can pump him up once he has haste. So let's say for some reason you want to spread your attacks out or things like that, or they destroy your creature and you want to put your counters elsewhere. Give him haste, pump him up so he's going to get 2/2, and then you can also use your commander's ability on him. Return to nature, pretty self-explanatory. Underworld Ragehound, attacks each combat if able. I like attacking each combat if able, right? That's the objective. We're playing aggro. Okay, so if he gets thrown into your graveyard, nice thing here, you have escape, so you can, if you're getting milled, you can cast this card from your graveyard for escape costs. Basically, you're going to pay 4, exile 3 other cards. They're in your graveyard. You're playing green-red. We don't have a lot of graveyard recursion. They're useless once they hit your graveyard. And if they're stealing stuff from your graveyard, we want to get rid of it. Irrelevant Revelers enters battlefield. Choose one. Destroy an artifact, or he gets haste. There you go. A little bit of artifact removal. Or if you don't need the artifact removal, he's got haste. Devotion to green. Yep. Renata's power is going to be Devotion to green, and your creatures are going to come in with some extra +1s. If you're giving things +1 and haste every turn, and you're just whacking away, they're going to hurt eventually. Alright, beside your reach is Skyward. Search your library for some forests, shuffle your deck, put them into your hand. What do we got? One target land card from your graveyard on top of your library, so we're going to pull some things out of the graveyard, and then it's going to come in transformed, and it's going to get +1 and reach for each land you control. So we're going to go searching for some lands. We're going to get some lands if we need them. We're also going to pull one of those lands that's probably in our graveyard because it's probably there if you're playing against mill. Alright, Heiko Yamazaki the General. Legendary creature, Samurai. When he attacks alone, you may cast an artifact card from your graveyard this turn. Alright, this is actually going to be a nice key card for you. Alright, so you're going to have a lot of graveyard recursion from this card, simply because there's ways for this deck, and we'll see them later, to make copies of this creature. Alright, so if you lose him for some reason, he dies, doesn't matter. We're going to create a copy right from your graveyard, and then we're going to get our artifacts back. He's got trample, so you can pump him up too. It's actually kind of nice. I was like, when I saw it, I was like, 4-drop, 3/3 trample, and we can do some things with that? You milled my freaking card that I needed to kill you? Don't care anymore. Alright, mini partings. We're going to go look for some land, and then also we're going to create a token that we can sacrifice if we need to on one of those, what was that, exploit? Bargain? Yeah, bargain. Alright, explore. Pretty standard. Draw a card. Get a land. Leafkin Avenger, we're going to add 1 for each creature with power 4 or greater. That should be quite a bit. Alright, so you got a nice little engine right here for some mana. And then he deals damage equal to its power to target player or planeswalker. And that can be pretty freaking gnarly later on, especially if you equip some of those equipments onto him and then just sacrifice them away. You can also make token copies of him. That's the even better part. And then we're just going to sacrifice all of them. Alright, Brushfire Elemental. Haste. Can't be blocked by creatures with 2 or less, and whenever a land enters battlefield under your control, he gets +2/+2. Pretty early you can get this out. You can go ahead and start chipping away for 2 creatures that are out there. Probably aren't going to be able to block them because they're going to have power 2 or less, so it's a nice little early guy. He's got haste. Plus he can get pumped up for 2/2 whenever you get landfall. He can also be targeted by your commander. Alright. If something doesn't have haste or trample for some weird reason, or you just decide that you have better creatures that you want to add in here that don't have those things, here you go. Rising of the Day. Creatures you control have haste. Legendary creatures you control get +1/+0. So your little hamster will get +1/+0. Bombadil Song. Target creature you control gets +1, and you get to tempt the ring. You get hexproof. It's going to be useful in a pinch, and I don't know all of the rules around the tempting, but you might have to look them up. Alright, so a quick creature is Ward 2. That's great. A little bit of protection. It's not hexproof, but you can equip the legendary creature for 1. Big thing here, can't be blocked. Have fun. So that Ginger Brute, your little hamster, by the time you actually get this on the field, your hamster could be a 20/20. I don't know. That's not going to be fun. Alright, so exile a permanent card from your graveyard, a game like equal to its mana value. And you get to put +1/+1 counters on target creature you control equal to the mana value of the card exiled. And then it's going to come back to your hand. So you get to keep doing that. So if they keep milling you, you're just going to keep putting +1s on your little hasty hamster and whacking away at them. And that's all she wrote. Oh, actually, now that I think about that, if you exile a permanent card from your graveyard and then you recast this later, is that stacking? So if you like 3 turns ago you did a 7, and then this turn you do a 6, they're both technically still in exile. They've both been exiled with this card. That's 13. Food for thought. If you guys make it this far, somebody answer that question. It is going to be a little bit longer video. We're already at 20 minutes. Alright, Tangled Florhedron. He's a mana guy. And if you don't need him as mana, and you're struggling for land, there you go, you got a land. Target creature gets +2/+2, gains trample. What more can I say? +1 in haste from the Crystal Slipper. I know, guys. I'm gonna replace it. Calm down. Abrade, pretty straightforward. 3 damage, destroy target artifact. Crushing Canopy. There are better ones, but you're going to destroy target creature flying or destroy target enchantment. There is not a lot of flying defense in this deck. There's probably, I think, 5 things to combat flying creature-wise, so you might have to hold on to that. Another Atrax's Fall. We're going to get rid of Artifact Battle, enchantment, or creature with flying. Bigger on the inside. Oh yeah, bigger on the inside. Alright, so target player adds 2 mana of any one color. The next spell they cast this turn has Cascade. I just like Cascade. I don't know about you guys, but free spells. So target player adds 2 mana of any one color. Enchant some stupid little token that you don't need. Go for it. If you need the land, so enchant an artifact, you don't need one of those food tokens. They have to waste a spell on destroying a food token. You get this, your spells now have Cascade. Or, well, your next spell. As long as you control a token, Druid of the Spade gets +2/+0 and has trample. So you get a 4/3 with trample because you should always have a token, right? You're gonna get your little hamster no matter what. And Coruscation Mage. So if they're playing a bit of, if they're playing control, they're probably casting more than 1 non-creature spell a turn. So this could add up. The objective is to make 2 of these. So you're going to get Offspring 2. So it's going to cost you 4. You're going to get 2 of these. You're going to deal 2 damage to each opponent every time they cast a non-creature spell. Or, I'm sorry, whenever you cast a non-creature spell. Ah, dang. Well, there's plenty of non-creatures in here. You can also copy that later. Reading the text explains the text, guys. Alright, getting on to the rares and the mythics. Communal Brewing. This one's a little fun. So you can let your opponents draw a card. For every person who you decide to draw a card, you're going to get an additional counter. So let's say you have 2 players. They each draw a card each. So you're going to get 2 counters on here, plus the one that you already get. So that's 3. So you're going to get 3 +1/+1 counters whenever you cast a creature spell. That's pretty nice, especially if you're playing aggro and you have things that are coming in with haste. It means automatically they're going to be coming in over 4. And that's going to be pretty darn good. It just wouldn't be a red-green deck without good old Helena and Elena. First strike reach, and she's going to give things haste, and she's going to pump them up. So if you pump her up, she's going to pump other things up. It can escalate pretty quickly. Echoing Assault. Creature tokens you control have menace. Guess what? You're always going to have a creature token. So whenever you attack a player, choose target non-token creature that's attacking that player. Create a token that's a copy of that creature, except it's a 1/1. The token is tapped and attacking that player. Sacrifice it at the end. There's plenty of things here. Pick one. You're going to make some tokens. I actually think... Is it this one? No. There we go. J is Phoenix. If you have an opportunity to make more of these guys, go for it. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, has flying, has haste, copy the next loyalty ability you activate this turn. When you activate it, you may choose new targets for the copy. Whenever you cast a Planeswalker spell, you may return J of Phoenix from your graveyard. If I am correct on this, and we might need a rule check here, but we can go ahead and copy that -2. So you could end up sacrificing one creature to deal, let's say your little hamster has 19, you can copy that and you're going to deal 38. You're welcome. But actually, since you're going to do it 3 times, oh yeah, that's lethal. That's 1 turn lethal. That's actually a really nice combo. I like that. Alright, so the Phoenix. Doesn't matter if you sacrifice the token at the end of the turn. Alright, so we got another elemental bird here with flying haste. It's going to get +X+O, where it's the greatest value of artifacts. The greatest mana value artifact here, I'm pretty sure everybody already saw it, but we've got Excalibur, Sword of Eden. Costs X less to cast, where total mana value of historic permanents you control, so that's artifacts, legendaries, and sagas are historic. You have a good bit of artifacts in here, equipment, attachments. Your commander is historic, so it's automatically going to cost 8. And then it's only 2 to equip to a legendary creature, which that is your little hamster, or anything else that you have legendary. 10, it gets +10, and vigilance. So if they don't block your hamster, which probably has trample, haste, +10, it's already pumped up, and then you sacrifice the damn thing, you're gonna whack them for a lot. There are some times where there's some pretty lethal damage that's gonna be going on. Not to mention, if you've been pinging away at them for the first 3-4 turns, if they have no creatures out, you're gonna do some damage. Alright, so you're not playing a mill deck, or you're just kind of stalling out. They've made you discard all your cards. You have Fountain Port here, actually a nice, pretty good land for this deck. You're going to sacrifice that token, and then you're going to draw a card. So it's not a big deal. If your token's getting killed off anyways, you might as well sacrifice it, draw a card, and move on with your life. Keen Eye Curator. You can exile a card from a graveyard, so if they have a lot of graveyard recursion, they're replaying their own stuff, you're going to get this thing 4/4 and trample. So it's going to be a 7/7 with trample, and you can exile things. Here's something important: always exile things. So if it's your turn is about to happen, you have untapped land, exile some stuff. Use your unspent mana before the end of the player's turn before you. Also, if it's not that point in time and they cast a spell that targets something in their own graveyard or your graveyard, in response, you want to target that card, because then they don't get it. Yours will resolve first. And you can do that as much as you want, at any time you want. Pretty nice card right there that's going to help you out. Alright, Emberheart Challenger. Haste, Prowess, and he has Valiant. So whenever he becomes a target of a spell or ability you control for the first time each turn, exile the top card of your library until the end of your turn. You may play that card. Alright, so you have a basic draw engine right here, but it is for a limited time. So you're only going to play that card till the end of your turn. If you are not planning on using Minsc's ability on anybody, or you are really just trying to fish for something that's going to help you out of a tight spot, and you're trying top deck, here you go. You can use this guy, use Minsc's ability, you can +1 him, give him plus, what is it, 3+1 plus counters? It is. You can give him 3+1/+1, so he becomes a 5/5, and then you're going to be able to use that bottom ability Valiant right there. The Sound of Drums. I like this one. It's so dumb, but I love it. Alright, let's say you got that turn 1 stupid little gingerbread man out, and that's the only thing that you've been attaching things to, and you just keep pinging people for haste. Go ahead and goad your own dang creature, man. So goad basically makes sure that it has to attack And even if they steal it, it can't attack you. Okay? That's awesome. So, go drone creature. You're planning to attack anyways. You're not slowing down. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to deal double damage. It's even better when you give it double strike. Which are a few things that are going to do that in this deck. Hopefully. We have Glorious Sunrise. Beginning of combat turn, choose one. They get +1/+1 trample till end of turn. That's great. That means all your creatures basically you're going to get to have that ability to get pop per +3/+3. You can draw a card. You are definitely going to have creatures with more than 3 for the entire game. And then land is +3. So you have a ton of options here with this card. It seemed pretty good to add in there. So it's 5 drops, so it's going to be a little mid-range for you. You might get, if you get it on turn 4, that's awesome. Get it on turn 3 is even better. Alright, at the beginning of your end step, create a 1/1 red human creature token. Then, if you control exactly 13 permanents, you may sacrifice it and deal 7 damage. Dude, if you can end the game by turn 7, go for it. Or not turn 7, but whenever you hit 13 permanents and sacrifice this thing, freaking do it. 7 damage, any target, you never know. It's going to happen. Plus, you're going to get that 1/1 red human. You might need jump blockers. Keep them from attacking with something that's causing you to mill, things like that. It's good for stalling. It's only a 4-drop. You can also attach equipment to those creatures. You can give them haste, you can give them trample. If you're struggling to put damage places because they keep killing off the things that you are using, there you go. You just keep pinging away. Alright, Thundering Nightmare. So it's a horse spirit, it's got soulbound. When an opponent casts a spell, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, and then the other creature will also get that as well. Just going to be a nice, if you're playing multiplayer, time it comes back around to you, you've got, what, 3 players? If they've cast 3 spells, you're getting 3 +1/+1 counters on 2 different creatures. Go for it, man. Whack them. Alright, so here you go. The Spear of Leonidas. This can get some pretty dangerous stuff right here. So that double damage earlier and that double strike, it's going to be gnarly. Make something unblockable, it's going to be great. So it's going to gain double strike until end of turn, or you can create a Phobos legendary 3/2 red horse creature token. If you're, I don't know why, if you're playing people who are milling you or doing things from your graveyard, you're not going to want to discard 2 cards. The other 2 things are way better. Alright, Gimli of the Glittering Caves, double strike. Whenever another legendary creature enters the battlefield under control, put a +1/+1 counter. This is where I was talking about that Minsc at the beginning, that making that hamster. It says may. You want to let it happen. And then you just want to choose that one to die. So Gimli is going to get a +1/+1 counter every single turn no matter what. And then when he deals damage to a player, he's going to create a treasure token. So if he's got strike, if he's got double strike, and he's got trample, and he's getting +1s every turn, they're going to want to get rid of him. He's going to do some damage. He's going to be a target. Alright, then we got Eomer, Marshal Rohan, Haste. Whenever one or more other attacking legendary creatures you control die, untap all creatures you control. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase. This ability triggers only once each turn. Guess what? Go ahead, sacrifice your friggin' hamster, deal some damage, and then just swing in again. So this is another lethal combo right here. You can't go wrong. I thought that was a pretty good card to add in there. Lamplight Phoenix. When it dies, you may exile it and collect evidence 4. If you do, return Lamplight to the battlefield tapped. Basically, if they're causing you to mill things and you want to get things out of your graveyard so that they can't steal them, here's a good way to do it. Death Touch and Haste, the Axebane Feryx. It's got Death Touch, it's got Haste, it's got Ward. I mean, come on. It's a 4-drop. 4-drop, 4/4. I'm not hating. Mjolnir's Stormhammer. Alright, attach it to a legendary creature you control. Guess what? You always have a legendary creature on the battlefield. When it attacks, tap target creature defending player controls and put a stun counter on it. So basically, there are things you're going to... If there's something whacking you and it's causing you to mill, don't let them keep whacking you with it. If it has flying and it's getting over, tap it, put a stun counter on it. It's going to stay tapped for 2 turns. Basically, their next... Yeah, 2 turns. And you're going to deal damage equal to a number of tapped creatures. So if they're tapped out too, they're taking some extra damage. Alright, the Animus. Beginning of your end step, exile up to one target creature, legendary creature card from a graveyard with a memory counter on it. To your next turn, target legendary creature you control becomes a copy of target creature card in exile with a memory counter on it. Guess what? Your hamster's legendary. That means any legendary card that goes into your graveyard, you can exile it and basically turn your hamster into it. There are some pretty good ones there. The Rebirth Engine. Exile all creature cards from your graveyard. Put a creature card, exile with it onto the battlefield. Gains haste until end of turn. I mean, why not? Alright, we already went over this one. You can steal your own opponent's creature or permanent from their graveyard. And then 2, you can sacrifice it, and then we can recur it later if you do get that off. We have Grim Reaper's Sprint. The spell costs 3 less to cast if a creature died this turn. Here again, let that hamster trigger go and let it die. So that means this only costs 2 to cast. You can enchant a creature, and when it enters battlefield, untap each creature you control. If it's your main phase, there's an additional combat phase. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has haste. Here's another easy double combat situation. A nice beautiful land for you. And then, alright, Ill-Tempered Loner. So if it's dealt damage, deal that much damage to any target. Eventually they're going to have to block something. They have to. Alright. And then, if you get to flip it, whenever a permanent you control is dealt damage, he deals that much damage to any target. They're going to have to block something. The objective is to get this flipped. I mean, if you're just swinging and swinging and swinging, they're going to do damage to your creatures. Unless they're not. You never know. Prevent all combat damage. Alright, and then last but not least, Case of the Crimson Pulse. When it enters battlefield, discard a card, draw 2 cards. So if you are empty-handed, this is great because you discard a card you don't have in your hand. You get to draw 2 cards. And then if you solve it, you have no cards in hand. So basically, if somebody's making you discard every single time, this is going to be great to help get you back on your feet, because at the beginning of your upkeep, you're going to discard your hand. So untap, upkeep, you have no cards in your hand anyways. You're playing red-green aggro. Yeah, everything in your deck at that point, if you are at the point to playing this, you are just playing everything right away. Like you're just non-stop. You are full speed ahead. You want to nail them to the ground. And then they're dead. Alright, man, that is all the cards I picked out. It is quite a long video, guys. I know. Whew. I need a drink of water after that. I hope you guys enjoy this type of content. I absolutely enjoy doing this, Joey. I hope you enjoy the cards. I hope you finish refining this deck and turn it into a monster green-red aggro deck. Honestly, if I was going to keep going at this deck, there's quite a number of cards that I could add in here that I probably just don't have on hand. And also, for $100, it would be very difficult to put those in there. So, you know, you're going to start getting your standard staples, $3, $5 cards. You're looking at your Swiftfoot boots, things like that. Anything that's going to give you hex-proof, protect creatures from being targeted. Even if you have some token generators there, so sacrificing off your tokens that don't matter is an easy way to keep your opponents from getting rid of your creatures and then stealing them from you in your graveyard. Ooh, alright. As always, guys, it's a pleasure. I really appreciate the support. I hope you guys enjoy this. And if anybody else out there is interested in things like this, just feel free to reach out to me. I have a plethora of cards. It is endless. I think I've got probably 15 to 20 boxes. All are the, what are they, like the 3000 mega box? What did I say? Oh, they're the BCW ones. You guys can go look them up on Amazon. Really, and that thing's full and it's heavy and it's, yeah. I'm going to sort through a lot of those over the coming weeks, just so if people do reach out, it is a little easier for me to put these together. Good luck on the pools too, man. Collect packs. And until next time, guys, Mr. T. Where's the stop recording button? Oh no, I can't see anything.